just going to have a bunch of centralized stable coins that are controlled, and that's what everyone's going to use. And it's the opposite of a circular economy. We're trying to create circular, sustainable economies in a mirror world they can't control.
We need to do better to get liquid USD adopted in the global south. There is no reason to use Solana, Ethereum, or Tron for this. Liquid does it better and cheaper with no shitcoin. It's time Bitcoiner-run exchanges integrate with Liquid instead of alts for their stablecoins. Well, we've been distributing currency in the global south for 8 years. He says that Liquid is cheaper, but Hive is free. Brazil is creating a central bank digital currency using private version of the Ethereum blockchain. But the code has been modified. They can create unlimited new coins. They can freeze accounts and they can take money out of accounts. People need to learn. I was saying this stuff 3-4 years ago as well, right? I was saying Bitcoin's going to be amazing, but now it's very clear Bitcoin's going to be a liquidity layer. It's going to have a lot of manipulation of the price by the big banks. They are starting to seize the Bitcoin mining farms in Russia, right? So it's going to become a state-run currency.
There's going to be 3 mining farms, in my opinion. You're going to have an East, you're going to have a West, and you're going to have a rogue one. You might have the West wrangle control of the Bitcoin network for a week or something, and then the East comes right back, firing back. So it's going to be like this literal war. The base chain in this sort of atmosphere will be completely unusable by anybody but giant cartel bank. These stupid countries that try to do this are going to fail because people can just go to Bitcoin. They can go to Hive, they can go to HBD. It's not needed. People have lost faith for the majority of governments around the world. They're trying to say you can't have strong ideals.
They're going to regulate everything if they can. It's in the circular economies. Once we get circular economies going and we don't need to go back into fiat, then you can create your own liquidity. The communities can vote to print their own liquidity. As long as there's a strict economic model around it, you can provide the liquidity that way. You don't need to get in and out from fiat at that point. Until a point such that we have enough crypto distributed everywhere, that people have earned and distributed and then recycled around themselves until they've started trading with each other in that currency and not having to exit to fiat. At that point, you don't even need Bitcoin. To me, I see digital network states as bordered landmasses eventually. Individual bordered landmasses where people can practice their own politics in peace. We are building economies tailored to cultures. We're building economies tailored to communities so that they can practice and live their own ways. And you can't fucking middle with it.
You're just going to have a bunch of centralized stable coins that are controlled, and that's what everyone's going to use. And it's the opposite of a circular economy. We're trying to create circular, sustainable economies in a mirror world they can't control. We have our pegged assets. We have our digital censorship resistant land. We have our immutability of our text data. We can build sustainable infrastructure on the outside. There's nothing they can do to bring us down. If they try to attack us, it only makes us stronger. So pick your poison. If you want distribution, HBD's much and far greater for humanity than USDT.
Primal, an emerging player in the Nostra industry, has secured a $1 million funding round from 1031 Hivemind Ventures and others, making it the first venture capital-backed startup solely dedicated to developing Bitcoin-infused Nostra applications. Interesting.
I don't know why they get excited about that. I mean, maybe we get some open source tech, but I've learned that all the VC funded tech is absolute crap because it leads to centralization. All the VC funded crap is smart contracts on layer 1,
strings attached,
meaning your layer 2s are centralized, all of them, everything. So I'm not even excited anymore when it comes to this crap because I know that they're going to build it in a way that's crippled and centralized and they have control over it. They not only want to make the money off the protocol, the greedy bastards want to then say, well, we want to keep making money by controlling the protocol.
So an EU digital commissioner is threatening to shut down social media platforms in the event of social unrest. So yeah, sure you are. Yeah, you want to try and shut this down? You want to try? They're going to force the issue on Facebook. They'll force the issue on Twitter. They'll all comply because they don't want to get arrested. They don't want to get shut down. But here's the problem with Hive: you can't stop them from running. I mean, you could sanction the operators of the platforms, But then there's desktop apps that people can run locally. You can't take the content off the chain, so people are going to use these desktop apps to operate and access the content, whether the EU commissioner says it should be shut down or not. This is Web3 as opposed to Web 2.5 that all these other guys are building, because you damn well know the second the EU digital commissioner starts to say, Jack Dorsey, Nostra better start shutting this shit down, right? You're going to comply. And so you get all of these run your own nodes. And when they start to scale, they're going to need business models. And when they bring business models in, they're going to sell advertisement, they're going to sell your information. It just ends up being the same Web 2, Web 2.5 business model that was there before. It's just going to be, it's like putting lipstick on a pig, basically. The key here is you must incentivize your infrastructure operators from autonomous protocols. If you do not do that, you do not give the community a chance to remain independent and run by individual members, individual known, reputable members who can be elected in, rather than by shady corporate entities that are just going to KYC your ass eventually. That's what's going to happen on Nostra. Jack Dorsey is going to save us. You know, like, it's like, come on, man. Like, do you not know who this guy is? You not know what this guy represents, you know? Like, are you really going to chase after him again and follow his dream again? Like, the dude saying things like, we're all in this together. We are not all in this together. I am not the same as you, and I refuse to be the same as you, you know? At all costs, at all freaking costs, Jack, I am not the same as you, and I will build economies that counter your economy. You understand?
Building up Web 2 accounts where you solely focus on building followings on Web 2 without actually converting them to an account you own is akin to renting a house for a decade, building it up all on the inside, spending a lot of your time and effort on making the house good just to be kicked out at the end. You don't own the house. You have to start from zero. Whereas opposed, if you own the account after a decade, everything you've built would be there. It will continue to be there for the next decade. To assume Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all these things are going to be around forever is naive. And then to have to start over every time one of them fails or bans you or changes policies or becomes irrelevant is annoying. It doesn't make sense. These decentralized ownerless skins are going to pop up like whack-a-mole. So as soon as they take it down, pop, another one's going to go down because they can't take down the database.
Can we create currency with a sound economic principle behind it and start distributing currency to people, for those people in your community who do valuable work for you, and let the community itself decide who those people are and let them decide how that currency is distributed around each other without having one centralized entity to distribute that currency, such as yourself? You would stay out of it as a content creator. You do that for a few months and all of a sudden it's impossible to shut you down.
It's good to be ready for the battle and actually almost long for it, but it's also good to lay the bricks, and we want to lay them as high as we can.
Hit a wall where we have to set up the defenses and watch this thing at work, see it be attacked.
Get your community sustainable. Don't rely on governments. Don't rely on handouts. They run out, then you'll be in a worse spot.
We are forcing freedom on you, whether you like it or not.